Great, thanks.
Domestic Relations 16, Lorain County Board of Commissioners retaining law firm of Wick and Scherza Pancinto serve as legal counsel for Lorain County Domestic Relations Court and Juvenile Court relating to Lorain County Domestic Relations Court and Juvenile Court 26 budget order.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Discussion. Judge? Did I see Judge out there in the crowd?
Good morning, Commissioners. Bring with me Emily Kirsch, our Court Administrator. I'm Judge Lisa Swenski. Mr. Zimmerman or whoever had those questions, if you want them answered afterward, I can definitely answer them. We just have a short statement about the fact that we need to hire counsel because the Commissioners have hired counsel and we're going to have to litigate and spend a lot of money. And we had hoped that we would not have to do that. So, Ms. Kirsch.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
On behalf of Judge Swenski, Judge Sherry Glass, and Judge Janik, I'm Emily Kirsch, the Court Administrator. So the judges have requested this budget item after learning that the Commissioners were seeking to retain counsel relating to the Court's Budget 2026 order, and that happened at the December 19th meeting. It wasn't until mid-January that the court learned, after it was finally able to get access to the allocated funds for the 2026 budget, that Turning Point Shelter was allocated $0. So as a result of that, Turning Point Shelter is closing tomorrow. And the court is requesting counsel to explore legal options regarding the Commissioners not following the court order.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. The court order was ordered. Oh, you don't have to. You're fine. Thank you for coming in. The court order was done before the budget, number one. So the court order was done prior. We passed the budget, and we had $7 million we had to cut, and we were looking at mandated and unmandated services. We retained a law firm to help us guide us through the fact that is it mandated and is it not. We advised the auditor with a letter to say that order is pretty much, since it was prior to us passing the budget, really didn't apply. I think now that you guys are moving forward with legal, I like the email that said we don't want to waste general fund money. And you got lawyers you got 3 judges. Each judge has 3 lawyers and are magistrates. You got a total of 12, 13 lawyers? I don't know. But the fact is this, I'm going to support voting for this because I was advised by our legal, that if we did not, it would be unfair for you guys not to have representation. And this representation has nothing to do with, I think Mr. Zimmerman mentioned, that the sheriff also hired the same law firm. So I expect, as I said in my last meeting, due to the sales tax not passing, that there was $11 million shortfall. Everybody cut $4 million out and left the other $7 million up to us to make those decisions. And so we looked at those programs that were not mandated by the state of Ohio. If we go to court, which looks like we're going to now, and we lose, then that $1 million is going to have to come from somewhere else because it isn't there. So that's I don't know if you want to add anything else, Commissioners?
I'd like to add that we did have, since January, we had about 4 or 5 weeks of strong negotiations. We tried 6 places to look for the additional money. We were able to get out of Jobs and Family Services. The shelter did qualify for TANF funds, which is temporary assistance for needy families. And we had asked that we take a look at the budget for Turning Point itself because it serves apparently 100 or less very needy kids who need temporary shelter while their families sort out other issues. But it was a $900,000 program, plus about $125,000 was put in by Children's Services. So that makes it about $1 million program for relatively small head count. So we'd ask that they take a look at economies there, as well as economies from the Domestic Relations Court itself, to see if there was some savings that they could make and transfer over. So, but the only one that was able to come to the table was Jobs and Family Services, evidently, and it's a business decision by the court. They manage the program. I would have liked to have seen that $200,000 keep the shelter open for another 90 days. That wasn't the decision of the court. We regret that. But as the commissioner said, hopefully we can negotiate this between lawyers and we'll be able to do it. But we retained counsel because it was an area of the law that we were not familiar with. And when you disagree with a court order, it's generally called contempt of court. But there are some exceptions in the statute that indicate if we don't have the money or if the request is unreasonable, that we can moderate the request from the court. So I'm hoping that our counsel, the county prosecutor, and the outside counsel will be able to form a three-way conversation, and we can negotiate something. But any dollar that goes to this project or to the additional to the court will have to come out from another part of the county. And at this point, it would be the court would be the only department or elected office that has not reduced their budget in response to the taxpayers bringing down the sale, not renewing the sales tax back in November. So we were hoping to get cooperation. We were trying to avoid the opportunity where somebody's going to get money and somebody else is going to have to give up money. We tried not to make choices based on all or none. We tried to get everybody to take a reasonable piece of the budget shortfall. So that's our background, and I wish the lawyers good luck in their deliberations. I hope that we don't have to litigate this. I hope we can just find some common ground and move forward.
So I don't want to get into a back and forth here. We're now obviously going to court. I just want to straighten out a couple of things that Mr. Moore has said and continues to say. That budget was not ordered until we came here, and there is a public record of all three judges being here. You guys said you loved the budget. We went with our 2025 numbers. We had already cut where we could cut. We did not replace where we didn't have to replace. We adjusted things. You said great. Commissioner Moore said great. I wish everybody goes with their 2025 budget. We waited 4 weeks to order the budget, which is something that we always do. General Division does it. We do it. Everybody does it. You don't even have the courtesy to tell us that you disagreed with our budget. You went and hired a lawyer, and the way we found out about it was on the agenda. You didn't even have the courtesy or good faith to tell us that you disagreed with it. We could have worked with you, but in 4 weeks, you wanted us to undo a program that serves this community? You wanted us to go lean on Children's Services to somehow magically come up with $500,000? Nobody has that money, commissioners. You have that money. The court ordered the budget. Then, out of good faith, we tried to work with you even after you violated the court order. We did what we could. You didn't even tell us that you pulled the money from Turning Point. Just like the sheriff, we found out about it when we looked in our account. You didn't say, hey, by the way, we're not going to fund Turning Point, so you better start looking for something. We can't just set up memorandums of understanding with 8 different agencies and organizations. We actually have jobs. We don't have an extra 30 hours a week, but she did the best she could. We tried to reconfigure this in 3 weeks, and instead of just funding us this year and saying, you know what, next year, forget it, you're not getting a dime. Now you take the money that we saved you, and you're using it for attorneys, and now we have to hire attorneys. We don't have attorneys represent us. Lawyers don't represent themselves. We don't do that. We think Turning Point, whatever you want to call it, mandatory, necessary, reasonable, we know what the law is. We think the court will side with us. At the very least, the court will be shocked at the bad faith way that this commission treated this court. We came to you. We came to you in good faith. We've always been fiscally conservative. I became a judge at a time when the finances were awful. We treat it like it's our own money. But you guys, you have these ideas that you have no grounds for, no evidence for, and then you make decisions based upon them. Public Defenders Commission, that's great. Mr. Ballard, I hope that we have a Public Defenders Commission. As a judge, because I know the quality may be better, but it sure as hell is not going to be cheaper. It is not going to be cheaper than what the Public Defender's Office reimburses, because we will need experts, they'll need investigators, they're going to need secretaries. It's going to be a whole nother bureaucracy up on that 5th floor. So I didn't want to get into it, but I tell you, Mr. Moore, you said you were offended by us ordering our budget. You had been on this commission before. You know we ordered the budget. But what I'm offended by is that we did everything we could. We chased our tails for 4 weeks. She and my deputy court administrator did nothing but try to find money. We're not in the business of raising money. How do I go to Nord Foundation as a judge and say, I need some money? In return for what? Judges don't do that for a good reason. Because it puts us and it puts the other person in a bad spot. Who wants to say no? And so now you take the money we saved you and you're hiring lawyers. Great. Just like the sheriff had to do, now we have to do it. And I don't know where you learned your business practices. I really don't. But this is not the way, I was in private business. This is not the way you treat partners. This is not what you do. And I'm not going to stand up here and listen to, let's call it inaccuracies. So Mr. Riddell, I appreciate everything you have done. That would have been great if we could have worked that out over the course of 6 months or a year. But to give us no notice, and then to have us just chasing our tail for 3 weeks, nobody in this county has that money, except the commissioners. It's not my fault the levy didn't fail. I mean, it's not my fault the levy failed. It's not the people of Lorain County. I don't know what the percentage of voting was. But your commissioners, your job is to lead. Your job is to gather input from people and to make decisions based upon evidence, not just ideas that you might have somewhere. So I don't know.
I have a comment here too.
I don't know who it is. Okay.
It is sad we're at this point.
Very good.
It's sad we're at this
It is.
point. I'd like
Yeah.
to sit down at a table and
I'm
meet.
available.
But hear me out, please. Your Honor, it came down to. I'm fairly new in this position and I'm learning my ways. But you guys could have said, "Hey guys, we haven't heard anything. We're gonna file the order." In my opinion, it goes both ways there.
You told us you loved it. We waited 3 weeks.
You're right, but we also had people after you. And that budget was not to be determined until we got everybody together. And by getting everybody together, we're like, oh, we need $6 or $7 more million. We took a $2 million cut ourselves. So the thing is, in expenses, you know what? We're all looking for cost-saving things.
I get it.
I'm not out in the public saying where the cost savings that I'm working on, because I don't like it.
Right.
I'm not that guy. So the thing is we're out there working hard diligently. This is a part-time job. We're all putting in 40-plus hours a week.
Right.
I can tell you that. And
I appreciate that, Commissioner Gallagher. I know you're new, and I am giving you all benefit of the doubt, and I've worked with Mr. Riddell. But what I'm saying is, if you would have come to us and said, we're not going to fund Turning Point, if you would have given us a clue, how we found out about it was my fiscal person happened to look in the account and saw zero. I can't do it $200,000 at a time, Commissioner Riddell. Do you think if we could, we wouldn't? We would. We have already borrowed from other accounts to keep it open until tomorrow.
we are searching for ways to find money for the programs.
And that would
we
be great.
support the program.
That would be great.
It's not anything with cutting it because we want to cut it.
Right.
We're looking at the mandated things that the Ohio
I get
Revised
it.
Code has, and if we don't have the funds for that, the other ones have to go, and that's
Right.
where we're at. Unfortunately,
I get
the
it.
tax did not pass.
Right.
That's unfortunate. Maybe it comes up on another ballot this coming fall so we can fund these programs. I'm a big believer in social services. Just so you know, my daughter's a social service
I do
worker.
know that, Commissioner Gallagher. That's why I specifically left you out of this. I just think that this was a big miscommunication that's going to result in hundreds of thousands of dollars. They don't bill at court appointed. rates. The private lawyers who fight each other, they bill $300, $400 an hour. Now, I have one, you have one, maybe Emily needs a different one, I don't know. So all that money that we saved is gonna go to attorneys, and all you had to do was just say, this isn't working, let's figure this out, instead of just undercutting every single time. Commissioner Riddell called Judge Janik the day before and said, don't worry about it, we're gonna cover your budget. No, it wasn't covered. And so I'm sorry, I realize you have your job, and I don't mean to get in a back and forth as a judge, I'm not supposed to, but I can't sit up here and let that narrative stay. We have done everything we can. Some of the other judges think that we're actually degrading ourselves, that we're running around with our heads cut off trying to satisfy you because, as you said, you instructed us to do some things. We've been a good partner all the time. Doesn't matter political parties, none of that matters. We have always tried to do what's best for the taxpayers. But I have a job to the children of this county, to the juveniles of this county, to the families who are getting divorced and in the middle of custody cases, to abuse, neglect, and dependency. And that turning point was important. And now I'm going to be looking at putting a 12-year-old or an 11-year-old in the DH for a kid who's already been traumatized, as most of these kids have trauma, and then they're going to be locked up?
Judge.
To save $700,000.
Judge.
Oh, we
No,
don't?
I think
Oh,
we're
okay,
good.
I think we're good.
I think we're good.
All right.
Thanks. Thanks. Anything else?